Let us try to vanish these lines with respect to this vanishing point. So let us imagine that this is a road which is passing through the central part of a city, and then there is also a crossroad here. So let us just roughly draw this. All these lines will remain horizontal. So we can say that this is one more street which is intersecting. This is a sort of a choke. And on the side of this, there is a footpath. So let us try to draw the lines of a footpath, which would be parallel to this road. And again, vanishing towards the vanishing point. Now this line again is going to vanish. Towards the vanishing point like this. You can initially you might use a scale to draw it, but later on you should try to draw it freehand. So consider that if the line is starting from here like this and continuing like this, and the same line is continuing here. So this gives you a very rough layout of the street and the footpath. So initially when you are drawing the sketch, you should try to keep these lines very faint lines, because this is going to form the sort of framework for drawing this central street of the city. Now what we are going to do is, once we have this, we are going to mark out some buildings on this. So for that, we'll start with this corner and we'll imagine that there is a building here of a certain height, and the height of this building is, say, about this much. And then this point, you will vanish towards this vanishing point like this, like that. So now this would be the, let us say, imagine that this is the extent of the building on the other side. So it's so this would be your block of the building, you can say. So this is how you will be starting drawing, say, a building. Suppose the next building, which is after this, starts from somewhere here, and it is of a smaller height. So I'm starting the line from here and then vanishing it towards the vanishing point. So the height of this building is slightly smaller than the earlier building. This is the extent of that building. So I'll just get rid of these lines now. Okay, so there are two buildings like this. Now at the corner of this street here, we are having one more building here. And let us imagine that this building has got a sort of a sloping roof. It's like a building. So let us say that this is going to be the total height of the building. I'll just vanish this point towards the vanishing point. This is very important that all these lines should vanish towards the vanishing point. So roughly like this. This would be the top of the building. And I'm imagining that this building itself is having some sloping roof. So it is like a temple or a church or something like that. In the center of this, there is a slope like this, and this building goes like this. So I'll just rough it out like this first initially, just to get the shape. All these lines will vanish because they are going behind the building now. So that's why I said that you should draw all the lines, very faint lines, so that you can easily get rid of them later on. So let us say that this has got a slope or something like that. And then it has got some features. So to draw those features, you will again possibly use some grid lines. So I'll say that this has got some arches here above. And then this line is also again vanishing towards the vanishing point here. You have to be a little patient while drawing. Remember that. And then let us assume that this has got some arch here. Another arch here. Some feature like this. You could draw any feature, that is left to you. But let us suppose there is some feature like this. We'll show a little bit of depth to this. And then at the top here, there is some round feature. Maybe there is a clock or something. A little old style building, let us say, along the street. And then below this, maybe there is an entrance, a big entrance or something like that is going in. And then there are some features on this wall. These lines will remain horizontal. So something like this. Now next to this, there is going to be, I will imagine that there is another building. So we'll stop this building here. The slope of the roof will stop it. And we'll imagine that there is a more modern building here, which has got some height. Again, vanishing this point. And we'll just leave it here. Should be going out of the frame. Again, we'll see a horizontal line here. So basically, even now also, you should be drawing these very faint lines, rough sketches. Don't try to darken them immediately. First, have your layout done. And then you can, there is another building here. Let's say something like that. Okay, so we have drawn few buildings on this road. Same way here also. You can continue and draw few buildings here. Maybe this building is a curved building on this side. It has got a curvature. So at the top also you will see a curvature here. See how the curvature changes here. At the bottom it is curved this way. At the top it is going to curve this way. So the building has got a curved edge. And then at this corner again, now vanishing the points towards this line. Maybe a few more buildings here. So I've got a rough outline of these buildings, and then you can go on to detail out more things inside these buildings later on. So right now I've got a rough sketch ready, and this is going to be the rough sketch of the buildings which I have. These lines which are behind will go now. So now you start seeing sort of a view, a 3D view where you're seeing the buildings, and then you can start drawing, say, the floors. So maybe this building has got, these are two 3-storied buildings, so it will be seen like this. Then maybe at the background there is a building which has got more levels, so a taller building which is in the background. So you can just vanish it towards this vanishing point, just leave it like that. So something like that. So it's a city. So a lot of buildings are there. Now, furthermore, you can add now in this, you can add features like, as I said, can add the floors. Maybe this is an office building or something like that. So you are getting this. As first. So it could be complete glass or it could be like windows. Then at the bottom, maybe there is a showroom or something. So this entire face can be a glass face or something like that. So like that, you can go on developing this further. You can add features. And then within this street, you can mark out some more interesting features maybe. Like there is some signage. You know what is a signage? Signage means there are some boards, billboards or advertisement boards like that. They are coming out of this building. Maybe there is something written on them. Then you got electric poles maybe or some sort of street furniture could be there. Now if you want to draw some electric poles or light poles, then again they will be of a similar height, so you can mark out like this. Again some signages on this maybe. And then for effect you can draw some maybe lane marking which is there in the center of the street. Some pedestrian pathway, zebra crossing. And then some human figures. Human figures in this case will be very small. So let them be with respect to the building height and other things. So people walking around and then some vehicles. So then with respect to this human figure, then there could be some vehicles like a bus or a car or whatever. So along these streets, this will not come out very well. There's maybe some car or a bus, maybe. Again, these lines will vanish. This should be the rear side of the bus and maybe some windows here. Car or something like that, small car. So once you have got this basic thing drawn, then you can add rendering to that. Rendering means some little bit of shadow and other things. So then you can use some slightly can shade it with say pencil. Show the shadows a little bit. So shadows will immediately give that effect. Effect of depth. So of course, depending upon how much you want to do this, you can add the shade of this entire row of buildings if you want on this street, a shadow maybe. So that also might look good. So maybe the shadow of this building would be falling, something like this tall building. So this entire part you could shade it. Similarly here also you can and this part would be in shade. So you can give it a little bit of gray wash the rest of the building because since the light is coming from that side, this entire thing would be in shade. So you can give it a little bit of shading if you want. Well, this part would be lit up properly. So like that, you can go on developing this further and then maybe make a few things a little bit darker to highlight. But do that only once you have got the basics ready. This is of course I am drawing it very fast, so it's a little rough, you can say, whatever I've drawn. But you can make it even more interesting, more elaborate. You can add more figures, human figures. So maybe a few figures you can add here. These figures will be slightly bigger than these figures because they are closer to you. So that proportion you have to show correctly. And they can be just outlines like this. So there are two people.